and love this great lake. So I'm delighted to welcome you here. I'd like to begin by inviting Stephen James from the Washoe tribe to the stage. Mr. James is standing to my right. The Washoe tribe, which spans the California-Nevada border. Mr. James has lived here as a member of the tribe, and the tribe has existed for thousands of years. Mr. James, I want to welcome you and ask you to give a brief invocation.
Morning, everybody. My name is Stephen James, and I'm with the Washoe tribe, and we're up here today, this morning, give blessing to our tribe, our water, and I'll start in by saying a short prayer in Washoe in our language. Waringu ebe ke wak leo lebi da widi dau jagara plege alu ke wak leo lebi lagi halinga ke wasisi wa te iganga luliske halanga wadi te inga huleo widi wa tanga ukeski lemme huya hutte mille miski leo huya Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please be seated and we'll begin. It's pretty good when a governor gets your speaker located.
There you go.
Thank you. Your microphone, I should say. I'd like to begin by stating a lot of thank yous. And let me begin with Joanne Marquetta and Julie Reagan of the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, Amy Berry and Art Chapman of the Tahoe Fund, Dr. Darcy Goodman Collins of the League to Save Lake Tahoe, Chairman Sorrel Smokey of the Washoe Tribe, Steve Tashara of the Tahoe Chamber of Commerce, Patrick Wright at the Tahoe Conservancy, the Nevada Tahoe Resource Team, Forest Supervisor Jeff Marsalis and Heather Noel from the Forest Service Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit. I'd also like to recognize a few of the officials here today and then ask all of you to stand and if you would give them a big round of applause. Commissioner Brenda Berman of the Bureau of Reclamation, Michael Stoker, Regional Administrator, EPA, the Nevada Lieutenant Governor, Cale Marshall, the Nevada Secretary of State, Barbara Sikowski, Director Bradley Crowell, the Nevada Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, the California Secretary for Natural Resources, Wade Crowfoot, Mayor Brooke Lane of South Lake Tahoe, and our Tahoe scientists, Dr. Sudeep Chandra, the University of Nevada, Reno, Dr. Jeff Sladow, the University of California, Davis, and Dr. Kamud Achara, Interim President of the Desert Institute. Also, at every summit, we recognize how important firefighters and their chiefs who combat wildfires are important to the Tahoe Basin. Last year, my state, California, experienced its deadliest wildfire season on record. A season that could have been worse if not for the heroic effort of firefighters. So I'd like to recognize these brave men and women with you to let them know how truly grateful we are for their service keeping us safe. And I'd like to begin with the CAL FIRE Chief of California, Tom Porter. Chief Michael Schwartz, if you would stand, gentlemen, and then we'll give everybody a round of applause. Chief Michael Schwartz, North Tahoe Fire Department, Chief Tim Alameda, Lake Valley Fire Protection District, Chief Scott Baker, Tahoe Douglas Protection District, Interim Chief Bruce Martin, City of South Lake Tahoe, Fire Rescue, Chief Ryan Summers, North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District, Chief Steve Simmons, Meeks Bay Fire Protection District. Thank you. Chief Gary Guerin, Fallen Leaf Lake Department, Chief Brian Estes, Placer County Fire Department. Are you here, Brian? Thank you. Chief Donovan Lee, United States Forest Service, Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit. Are you here, sir? Right there. Thank you very much. Please give all of these people a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. The first Tahoe Summit was held in 1997 when Senator Harry Reid invited President Bill Clinton to hold a presidential forum at Incline Village. President Clinton announced a major federal effort to restore our magnificent Clearwater Lake. As I said last night, this is only one of 2 clear water lakes in the entire world. The other is Lake Baikal, bigger in Russia. But as this lake stands, it truly is a national treasure and a very specific wonder that it continues to exist. Unfortunately, the clarity of Tahoe has been declining. After the '97 summit, both sides, Nevada and California, came together in what has become a private-public partnership that has endured to this day. I call this partnership Team Tahoe, and I'm very proud of being a member of it, and I'd like to ask all of you to join. Team Tahoe has invested more than $2 billion in the Lake Tahoe Basin, including more than $730 million from the federal government. That money has funded nearly 700 restoration projects. To mention just a few, Team Tahoe has constructed 157 miles of bike and pedestrian trail around the lake. That includes the Tahoe East Shore Trail Project, which was just completed in June. East Shore residents and visitors now have a splendid 10-foot wide paved path that spans 3 miles from Incline Village to Sand Harbor State Park. I don't have to tell you about the risk of wildfire on the more than 77,000 acres of forest. That, I believe, has been reduced. For example, the Fire Service is wrapping up a 9,000-acre project that spans from Heavenly to Cascade Lake. Crews are treating overcrowded forests to make them more resistant to insects and disease and reduce the threat of catastrophic wildfire. Also, Team Tahoe has restored 1,743 acres of streams and watershed, including the Johnson Meadow acquisition along the Upper Truckee River. There are checkpoints around this lake that examine boats coming into it. They have examined more than 87,000 boats, and they have found that 37,500 contain contaminating elements and had to be washed thoroughly before coming in. Now, thanks to the boat inspection program, no new invasive species have been found in Lake Tahoe. So that's really good news. And Team Tahoe has done 791 miles of roads and projects which have prevented fine sediment from entering the lake. And that's improved the lake's clarity to 70.8 feet last year. So what we are doing as a bi-state, bipartisan, public-private partnership is really working. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Some of us here were at the very first one and have been coming, and we recognize that what we're dealing with now is climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I've asked the staff to pass out an editorial from the Washington Post that was 2 days ago. I'd like to ask everybody to pick one up. And what the topic is, or title is, it says, "Global warming is already here. Denying it is unforgivable." And I think if you read this, you will really see how important this is. Over the past 50 years, the hot summer season has increased by 20 days. Now, what's been the result? Invasive species are thriving. Trees are dying in increasing numbers. Snowpack in the mountains is decreasing. And the lake's clarity in the summer is declining. So climate change is not an issue that we can ignore. And if we do so, we do it at our own peril. I'm particularly worried about the risk of catastrophic wildfire helped along by climate change. I remember listening to Congressman McClintock at one of our very first events speak about wildfire. And so I began to follow it very carefully. And what I found is that it is real and that it is devastating. And in California, we've had a fire called the Camp Fire. It's been the deadliest and most destructive in California's history. And these fires are going to occur more frequently as temperatures continue to rise. That fire burned 14,000 homes. It killed 86 people, and it destroyed the town of Paradise in Northern California. Can you imagine 14,000 homes burned in one fire and what that fire must have been like? Unfortunately, it's something that we can relate to here at Tahoe. Although it's been more than a decade, we can look back at the Angora fire, and we can remember that that destroyed 254 homes in South Lake Tahoe. And the Emerald Fire, which we pass as we drive past Emerald Bay, burned for 3 days, scorching 176 acres. On the drive past Emerald Bay, you'll see the stark residue of a forest fire. And I think you'll understand that we've got to prepare to fight these fires. To help protect Lake Tahoe and the surrounding region, we have secured the transfer of 7 C-130 airplanes from the Air Force to CAL FIRE. I saw the planes at McClellan in Sacramento a few months ago as they were being repurposed and upgraded. 2 of them were actually used to fight last year's wildfires and are now receiving upgrades. So we hope to expedite the necessary upgrades, and once completed, CAL FIRE will have the largest aerial fleet in the world for fighting wildfire. So this is very good news. Additionally, we have taken new provisions in both the recent Farm Bill and the Omnibus Funding Bill that will allow the federal government to take more aggressive action to remove dead, dying, and downed trees in our forests. And this is a real concern for us in California. The last count of dead, dying, and downed trees was 150 million. So I think the future is ours. It's ours to protect, it's ours to work wisely with, and it's also ours to help destroy. So the fact that all of you are here today, that care enough to hear from both governors, some members of your government, and I hope to continue your care and concern about this great lake. I tell people, at the age of 16, I was a camper at Talawanda Camp for Girls, that's on the north end, and we had a pack trip overnight, and I had a bicycle, didn't have much to it except bad brakes. And we biked around the lake, and from a bicycle at that time, 16, I really saw the beauty of this great place. And as I say, let no man put it asunder. So I would now like to introduce one of our leaders, a new leader, Nevada's Governor Steve Sisolak. The governor grew up alongside another Great Lake, Lake Michigan. Born in Milwaukee, he moved to Nevada after college to attend grad school at UNLV. He put down roots in Nevada. He started a successful communication business. He served on the Nevada Board of Regents for 10 years and the Clark County Commission for 6 years before successfully running for governor of our neighbor state. He accomplished all of that by raising 2 successful daughters as a single father, an incredible achievement. I'm delighted he's joining us for his first Lake Tahoe summit as governor, and would you please welcome the governor of the great state of Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Senator. You are not going to find a more fierce advocate and staunch supporter of Lake Tahoe than you have with Senator Feinstein, and we are so proud